One thing I've learned is this: when a woman tells me she wants to start an online business but hesitates, it's almost never about ability. It's usually because this matters to her and she wants to get it right. While at the same time, she's quietly asking herself, can I actually do this? You see, when something matters, while at the same time uncertainty presents itself, the body doesn't rush forward, it pauses. That pause isn't failure, it's your mind asking for clarity. Hi, I'm Lorna, and if you're over 50, starting again, or starting for the first time, or starting over, and wondering whether digital marketing is even meant for someone like you, this conversation is for you. It's not to rush you, not to impress you, not to convince you of anything, but to sit with you for a moment and help you understand what's actually happening when this topic feels heavy instead of hopeful. Because I've stood in that exact same place too, and I know how confusing that feeling can be. But once you understand it, things begin to change. Here's a truth most beginners don't usually hear: digital marketing doesn't feel hard because you're older, and it doesn't feel hard because you're incapable. It feels hard because you've been given too much information with no sense of order. No one tells you what comes first. No one tells you what actually matters at the beginning. And no one tells you what you're allowed to ignore. So you're left trying to build something important without a map. And quietly, something inside you start to whisper, maybe this just isn't for me. That's you. Hear me. Nothing is wrong with you, and you're not alone. Most beginners aren't confused because they lack intelligence. They're confused because they've been given information without orientation, and without order, the brain feels unsafe. So instead of excitement, you feel tension. Instead of motivation, you're tired before you even begin. If you've ever thought, why does this feel so hard? Or why everyone else seems to get this but me? Please hear me clearly. You're not behind. And you're simply trying to start something without being shown where the ground is. I remember sitting at my desk, watching videos, taking notes, and trying to learn. And the more I learned, the heavier I felt. Not because I didn't understand the words, but because I didn't know what mattered first. So I waited. And that waiting slowly turned into self-doubt. I thought I had to understand everything before I could begin, that I had to feel confident before I could take action. And that belief kept me stuck longer than anything else. Here's what most beginners get wrong. We think confidence comes first, then action, but it actually works the other way around. Confidence is built by beginning one small step at a time, and that first step becomes clearer when you know what matters now, what can wait, and what you're allowed to ignore. That brings clarity. Without it, the brain does the safest things it knows how to do. It pauses. That pause isn't laziness, though, and it often shows up like procrastination, but actually, it is protection. So let's slow down the noise. Digital marketing is not a maze you have to solve. At its core, it's simply this: you share something helpful with people who need it in a place they already are, and you invite them to take a next step. That's the foundation. Everything else comes later, and sometimes much later. If you're just starting, here's what you do not need right now. You do not need every platform, a perfect niche, a complicated funnel, or a polished brand, or even full understanding of how it all works. Trying to hold all of this at once is what creates the freeze. What you actually need is much simpler and much kinder. You need one place to show up, one message you care about, one small next step, and permission to be new. And that's not lowering the bar. That's actually how the foundation is built. So if you're wondering, where do I even start? Start here. Your first step isn't about doing everything. It's about deciding 3 simple things. Who do you want to speak to? What do you want to help with? And where do you feel calm showing up? When I was starting and looking for clarity myself, I didn't need more opinions. I needed a path that I could trust. And I found a clear step-by-step path. Not because it promised fast result, but because it offered order. Things were taught in sequence. What matters first, what can wait, and what I can safely ignore. It stripped away the confusion and showed me my next step. That's why I now share the exact path I followed, and I've linked it below. It's a calm starting place, and you can explore it in your own time if you feel like. Remember, you don't need to know everything to begin. You don't need confidence as yet. You will build that. You only need clarity about what comes first. And today you took that step, even if it doesn't feel dramatic, even if it feels quiet, even if it's just simply feeling like you're understanding something a little better. That still counts. This is the beginning of orientation, not pressure, not perfection, just a steady forward movement. And in the next video, I'll show you the one decision that makes starting feels lighter and why most beginners skip it. You don't have to rush. You just have to stay present. Be consistent. You're just getting started. Keep moving forward. I'm Lorna, and I'll see you in the next video.